5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? This is the Worship Leader Podcast. I am Terry, and
this is Josh.
This is Josh.
It's normalized.
It's normalized.
It's normalized.
We're good. What's going on, people? Like always, we have an exciting episode today. But first, before we do anything, we have, I know you can see Burger King sitting in front of us. So what we're going to do is, one of these is the Impossible Whopper. The other one is the regular Whopper. We're going to try both of these and see if we can guess which one it is. And maybe we'll catch up after that or something. But these burgers they're getting cold, so we can.
Do you want to start with the first one or the second one?
Let's start with one.
Okay.
I'll give you the bigger side.
Yeah.
Start with one.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. There it is. Okay.
Let's see. Let me check. I gotta.
A big
Okay,
old chunk of lettuce on my.
I gotta check these for tomatoes because I don't.
Well, okay.
don't do
Well, my
well with
tomato just jumped ship, so.
That's good.
I'm assuming I think this is the beef, but I don't know.
I need to try the other one first. I'll need to try the other one
I
first.
really don't know. I thought I knew what beef tastes like, but
Number
I guess
2.
not.
Let me check these things.
I don't know for real.
And I got these just like they were on the like you order them off the menu.
That was the beef. The second one's the beef. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Second one is definitely the beef.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Real beefy.
There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Second one's the beef.
The first one's not bad, though.
Oh, no. The first one is
Mm-hmm.
good. Like, actually, I'll be honest with you. I've eaten an Impossible Whopper before.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered a regular Whopper, and they gave me an Impossible one, and I was eating it on the way home while I was driving. And I was about 95% of the way through before I noticed it was an Impossible Whopper. I bit one bite. I was like, that was a little
This
suspect.
sandwich tastes different.
It was a little suspect. And then, of course, the wrapper was different, and so I was like, yeah, this is an Impossible Whopper. But yeah, I think number 2 is definitely the.
It's got that
It's got the beef taste.
Now, if I'm dead wrong, then that's the second time now in a row.
Oh, we're right. Number
that's
1.
good.
Number 1 is
I was a little
Impossible.
concerned.
Number 2 is Whopper.
Okay.
Very
All right.
Whopper.
All right.
So-
We're okay.
It's good.
We're gonna
It's
be
good.
okay.
You know, while we get caught up, I'm gonna eat because I haven't eaten a lot today because I've been. How you been doing? I'll ask you.
I've been good. I had a half day today, and then I was running around hanging out with some friends because it's Louisiana camp time. And for those of you who don't know, Louisiana camp time is also basically like a family reunion because everybody from everywhere just about comes to one place for like almost a month. Feels like it's like throughout the course of like a month, it's like you could see just about anybody.
Oh yeah.
In this one particular area. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That's good, and I'm gonna eat this for a while. So
Y'all don't judge us.
yeah, don't judge.
We hungry people.
Today, like I said, I've been trying to do better. Today I did because I knew I was gonna do this. I woke up this morning, had a protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had 2 small pieces of brisket, like real small slices of brisket,
Mm-hmm.
and a handful of almonds. So that's what I've eaten today. So this is not just a taste test. Like this is a meal for me. So y'all get to share in on this meal.
The P.S. It's almost the end of the day. So
Yeah, it is almost the end of the day.
So that's like that's all he's had for today. Like
Right. Speaking, like I'm getting caught up. I'm always talking. Whatever. That's just me. And Gigi's here, by the way. She's
Also, yes.
She's off in the studio audience.
that's why you keep seeing me looking that way because she's kind of free range on the side, and I'm just making sure she's not destroying stuff.
Oh yeah, and she's kind of walking now. You said, right?
Yes, she is taking steps. So y'all pray. Y'all pray.
So if Josh ever gets up, and I'll keep us entertained
Yes.
while he gets up and
I will
takes
be
care
right
of.
back.
Be right back. So, yeah, I'll just keep on talking since you're right there. So I think, and I didn't notice how much my quality, or I didn't notice how much I recognize or I identify my quality of life with what I'm eating. Like, now that I've been trying to eat better, like I don't have, like, I've never had any manic depression issues, but this is what I would think manic depression would be, because sometimes I'm like, oh, give me fruit, give me some broccoli. I'm gonna eat some broccoli. I'm gonna work out, some salad today. It's good. And then some days I look at a piece of carrot and I want to cuss somebody out. You show me a carrot, and get out of my face. Get out of my face with that carrot.
So, like, I will throw this
I
carrot.
will throw this carrot.
We will fight.
So it's a struggle. And
Yo, it's real. It's
I've been
real.
trying to do better, but the
Healthy
last couple of
eating is hard.
days I have not been doing better. So, but yeah, that's how my journey's been going. I've been up and down. It's been an up and down battle with this whole eating better thing, and
The struggle.
the struggle. It's real. The struggle. Whoever coined that phrase, it's real. The struggle is real.
That was a perfect way to describe some things.
Another thing, like I'm thinking and talking. If I get a thought during the week, I'm like, I'll just stash that in the back of my mind, because I get these crazy thoughts and I want to, like, talk them out, but I mean, this is the perfect place to talk them out, so I'll do it. I was listening to this podcast, and it was an apologetic school, like a Christian school. They brought in an atheist. He was an atheist philosopher. They brought him in to kind of like have, because in apologetics class, the actual professor, which is a Christian, they act like an atheist and they ask him questions and stuff. Well, he said, okay, I figured this would be a good time to bring in somebody who's really an atheist, someone who really a philosopher. It's a person he had a relationship with, so it wasn't just somebody that would come in and
Like,
wreak
and
havoc.
go.
Yeah. but anyway,
Complete stranger.
it's funny. And go.
Oh my god.
Anyway, the guy, he started talking about. They asked him some questions. So he said he started off as a Christian, and through life and college and stuff, he's not a Christian anymore, and so he opened up the field for questions, and so the question of creation came about, and the guy started trying to explain away creation pretty much. And one of the things he said was, I didn't listen to this whole thing because it was crazy. He started talking about like a multiverse, like
I've heard of that, actually. I've heard
and
of that.
this is his belief that there's a multiverse, and he made a fair point. Like if somebody's an atheist, they make a fair point, I give them the point, because it's not it's not gonna affect my belief. So he said he feels like the multiverse has always been there. Like it didn't have a beginning, it didn't have an end. And she was like, what? And he was like, well, you believe that there was a God that was always there. I believe that there's a universe. I believe that there's a universe
Well,
that's
my
always
God.
there. I was like, that's a fair point.
It's
Like,
just like you had to come like that.
you just came at it. That was a fair point, but that's a little weird. Like, not weird, it's just very shoddy, because I got to thinking, I was thinking, like, we can't think about the universe, so bring this down to a jar. The universe is a jar. If you were to go out into the multiverse and get every element that's in the multiverse and put it in that jar, and now it's a exact one-to-one replica of what he believes has always been here. So you tell me that I take this jar that's it's one-to-one replica of the multiverse, all of the elements and everything are there, and I sit it on a shelf, and after eons and billions and trillions of years, that stuff will all automatically develop laws, like the law of gravity, the theory of relativity, like it'll, like, laws, like things that are actually concrete that run this
Oh my
whole,
gosh.
like star systems. The dog just came.
Y'all, all I saw was a dark blur.
Our dog just came in, ran in here, and wreaked havoc.
I thought it was Gigi, and I was just like, how is she moving that fast? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Woo.
All right,
Man.
got my life back. Okay.
It's back.
It's this close, y'all. Naila lost me. This close.
You all see me doing CPR.
Come back, Josh. Come back. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. But yeah, like you tell me after eons and eons that just elements will start, star systems will start to form, and then like life will start to form, and then life that is intelligent, and like that just can't come without design. You know, that can't come without somebody designing it. If you just set a bunch of elements on a star system may come about, who knows, but to things that actually need to be thought through, and things are very intricate, like the human body and all of its workings and all of its immune systems and all of that doesn't just come from elements. Like there things are so finely tuned that, I mean, there has to be and we know that God's behind it, but there has to be a mind behind it. You know, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but I won't get into that. That was just a thought I had, so I was just thinking and talking out loud. And so those were some of the thoughts I had this week while I was just working and thinking and stuff. So yeah, we're caught up. Now what I got for this next, we're gonna move on to the next segment. So what I have for this, which is pretty cool, we're gonna do Christian music trivia. Anytime you need to get up, that's fine. You can go. This is laid back, and we're gonna keep it on one take because one mic, one take. So what we'll be doing is Christian music trivia. So what we'll do is I have some Christian music here, some lyrics. I did look at the first couple of them just to see if this would be stuff we would know.
Yeah.
Just make sure everything was above board.
Random stuff from
Random
1980.
stuff. Yeah. You can't. So I did look at a couple of them. So these will be new to me, like they are to you, except for the first few. So the first one, it says, in one of his most well-known songs, Chris Tomlin sings, "And if our God is for us, then." Can you finish the popular line? Now I'm going to give you a couple of choices, and you tell me which one.
I think I already know this one though.
What could stand against? Who wouldn't stand against us? How could we fail? Who would stop us?
Wait, hold on. You know you gotta, like, whenever you sing this, you gotta like actually sing this. If our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? There we go. Who could ever stop us? There it is.
We'll click it. Correct answer. That's what I was thinking too.
This is how you win the music trivia game. Sing the song.
And it was actually finish the line. Then they actually don't have this right. The site doesn't have this right. And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? They have. And if our God is for us, then what could stand against? Well, I guess that's the last half of it.
Yeah, but you like skipped like a whole. They skipped.
Oh, and if our God is with us, then what? That's the last.
I
half.
didn't listen to the question.
That's my fault. That's my fault
too. I think because I heard it and like I already was just like I know this one. I know that's why you got to read the whole question.
Yeah. So, number 2. Taking it back to the 90s, Darlene Check released "Shout to the Lord." Can you complete the following line?
Ooh.
Mountains bow down, and the seas will roar at the sight of your glory, sound of angels' praises, sound of your name.
Oh no! Oh no!
At the thought of your name. I know exactly which one this is.
Oh,
so I'll
gosh.
let you guess because I know.
I think I've only even listened to this song like one time. Oh, this is so hard. Okay. How does it start? How does it start again?
Shout to the Lord, all the earth let us sing. Power and majesty, praise to the King. Mountains bow down and the seas will roar
At the sound of your name.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey.
That's it. That's it. That's the right one. Yeah. At the sound of your name.
That was a close one because I didn't think I knew that one, y'all. I didn't.
Next one. When you come to where you're broken within, the blank can complete this line. 10th Avenue North healing.
Oh, dang.
When you come to where you're broken within, the pain goes from your heart.
Oh.
We wait lifts off. The weight lifts off is probably what they tried to say.
Probably just a typo.
The clouds begin to part. The light meets the dark. I know this one too.
I'm going to be honest. I listened to 10th Avenue, but I don't think I ever heard this song. So this one's going to be a real shot in the dark for me. What's the choices one more time?
The pain goes from the heart. The weight lifts off. The clouds begin to part. The light meets the dark.
The clouds begin to part.
Final answer?
Yes.
Final answer. That, my friend, is no.
Oh.
It is the light meets the dark. The light meets the dark. Or however it goes.
Well.
And I tried to look for some of these for like gospel songs too, but it wasn't out there. I mean, they had like "Take My Hand, Precious Lord, Lead Me On, Let Me Stand." Like
The old
the
school.
old stuff where I was like, okay, I know this one, but the rest of them,
Congregational.
rest of them I don't know. Okay, so in Like a Lion, the
Like a
Newsboys.
Ooh, they
Let
reached
heaven
all the
roar
way
and
back.
fire fall. Come shake the ground with. Oh, I know this. I know all these. I
What's
know
the
all these.
choices? What are we shaking
Wide-
the ground with?
Wide arms open. So let heaven roar.
Okay.
Let fire fall.
Okay.
Come shake the ground
Shake
with.
the ground.
Wide arms open.
Okay.
Your strength like a lion.
Ooh.
Healing and faith.
Okay.
The sound of revival.
I'm gonna say strength like a lion because
Strength like a lion?
that's in the title. I'm gonna take a shot at.
It is, my friend. I know this one too. It is the sound of revival. Let's see. The sound of revival. Yep. All right, let's see. Bethel Music,
Okay,
the
okay,
American
okay.
worship
All right, okay. We
group
coming
from
back.
California, released songs "No Longer Slaves."
Okay. All right.
I'm
Okay.
No longer a
You know you gotta have like a
slave.
what
You
is it
gotta
like a
have
little
that.
rasp or something in it?
I love it.
You gotta sing it. You,
You
gotta
got
sing
it.
it
You
exactly
have
like
to.
that.
You have
No exaggeration.
Go smoke a pack of cigarettes.
I know.
Before you sing it in the back. What you doing back there, John? Oh, I'm just
Getting ready.
I'm getting ready for this. For
The
this
one
next
song. The one song.
Got a pack of coins in the back.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So no longer slaves. It says they sing, "My fears were drowned out in sadness under your
Why would
sun,
they pick the most inconspicuous?
flaws
I'm mad.
within my blood, failure of reviving." Man, these like emo songs they're making. This.
They are.
And perfect love. I think we all know
fears were
this one.
drowned in perfect
My
love.
fears were drowned
Yeah,
in
okay, okay.
failure of reviving.
Oh my god.
It don't hit.
I'm gonna say
It don't hit.
I'm gonna say perfect love
It's
because
perfect
I was
love.
trying to think. I could not remember where that part was at, and I was just like, what in the world?
I'm just gonna sing all these to see what they
My
sound like.
fears were drowned in perfect love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there,
there it is.
that's-
Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay.
My fears were drowned in flaws within my blood.
Oh my god.
Flaws within my blood?
That ain't it. That ain't it, Beth.
He got the diabetes?
That definitely ain't it.
Yeah, so it is perfect love.
Oh, praise God. I got
Perfect
one.
love. All right, in Your Great Name,
Natalie.
Natalie Grant sings
Dang nabbit.
Sick or Healed and the blank.
Oh,
at
the other
sound,
one.
Your
Yeah.
name. So the sick or healed,
Yeah.
weakness finds light, The lost are found. Blind can see.
Okay, the
Are
sick
dead or
healed,
raised.
and the blankety
The
blank
sick
at
are
the sound.
healed. The
Hold on. Oh, I should know this. The sick are here. This is why you're supposed to know the lyrics. What are the choices?
weak. Oh. I hear all my smacking. Weakness finds light.
Okay, that ain't it.
The lost are found.
Okay.
The blind can see.
Lost or found. It's lost or found.
Lost are found.
Sick are
We're gonna click on it.
healed, and the lost are found at the. Ooh, wait a minute. No, that's the wrong place.
The
Wait a
sick are
minute.
healed.
What's the last? That's the last choice.
Dead or raised.
Dead or raised. Oh, it is dead or raised.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, it is
Yeah.
dead or raised.
Sick
Okay,
or
yeah,
healed,
yeah,
dead-
okay.
I was waiting on you.
The dead are raised
Dead or
at the
raised.
sound your great name. That's the part where that whoa, great name. Yeah. Y'all know. Y'all been there. Y'all probably did it.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. So the next one. You didn't want heaven without us. So Jesus, you. What a beautiful name is the song. So Jesus, you.
I swear I be
lifted our
knowing these
hearts.
songs, y'all. I swear, but when he asked me, my mind goes blank.
But Jesus, you lifted our hearts
Wait.
up high to the sky.
You didn't want heaven without us. So Jesus,
Says you lifted our hearts.
Brought heaven down. There we go. Brought heaven
That's
down.
it, bro.
Okay, yeah.
Brought heaven down. I'll just read the other ones. Lifted our hearts high to the sky. Came down to die for us. Came and showed
close.
us the way. Brought
Close.
heaven down.
Brought heaven down.
Brought heaven down.
That's what
That
he
is
did.
Absolutely it.
That's what the
How many
psalmist
of
said.
these are there?
There's a lot of them.
a
Oh,
lot
wait.
of
Oh, what's wrong?
All right, we're going to do a couple more. Maybe. Yeah, a couple more.
Maybe.
This is fun. I'm having some fun. Okay, so Carrie Job's song Forever. It's a catchy song, especially in her line, we sing hallelujah, the blank. We sing hallelujah, the Lamb has overcome. We sing hallelujah, we sing it together as followers. We sing hallelujah, the Father, Son, and Spirit. We sing hallelujah, the I have overcome.
The Lamb is overcome. Yeah.
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
really know this one, but that makes the
Lamb
most
is over-
sense.
And I only know, because that song it's got stuck in my head. Because it's one of the things like you sing it a certain amount of times, it's kind of like almost get tattooed on your brain.
Well, I'm going with that one too. The Lamb has overcome.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. That is correct. 10,000 Reasons. Oh, of course. I'm
Is that
gonna
the
know this one.
Bless the Lord? Okay.
That's
okay,
that
okay.
one. Matt Redman.
Mhm.
I thought that was
Oh Matt.
maybe Chris Tomlin did it also.
I
Maybe
think it's-
Matt Redman was like a co-writer or something. Whoa.
Okay. All right.
Little fit.
All right. We're gonna be right back.
All right, so we'll do one more for good measure. Can you complete the following line of "So Will I"?
Okay. All right.
10 billion reasons.
This is a hard song.
10 billion times by Hillsong.
Okay.
Oh, come on now. And as you speak, 100 reasons are given to me. Ways appear in front of me. Miracles happen through your glory. Or billion galaxies are born.
A billion galaxies are born.
Yeah, definitely billion galaxies.
Now,
They
I will
could've done
say
better.
that song, actually, that had the potential to be a really hard question because that song is like, it's basically like memorizing a long poem. Like
Yeah,
that's
is.
how that's the
It is.
song.
They could have done. They could have.
That could have been a crazy hard question.
Yeah, because that is a wordy song.
I remember when we were trying to like learn it, everybody was just like, "Wait, so when you which time are we speaking? Wait,
Paragraph 3, sentence 5,
line.
line 62.
We need you to expand the words this big." Oh,
That's
my
a great
gosh.
song, though.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's just you got to be like on it because
Yeah.
you can't fake that song. Like if you miss the words, like everybody's gonna know because it's not gonna make sense. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And so, we're gonna move on to the next segment, and we talked about it in the last podcast a little bit. creating a culture, a healthy culture in your music ministry or your music program. So want to talk about this a little bit. Well, more than a little bit. I took a few little notes on this just as I was thinking of some stuff. So I'll just kind of work down them a little bit. Now, just so you'll know, with me, as far as creating a culture, just so you'll know that I have a little credibility. I just destroyed all credibility with trying to say credibility. Out the window.
The word itself is a test.
Credibility.
Credibility.
Credibility. Speaking in tongues. Credibility. So, with, I guess, culture things. So, not a ton because I haven't done anything big, but in my previous job, which was, I was a nurse at a jail. I was the head nurse at that jail, so I had to kind of run the clinic, which wasn't a ton of people. It was just a few of us in that clinic. But that was a thing where culture had to be in a jail. It can get pretty toxic. So what happens is, like, the attitude of the jail just wears off on all the employees. It happens. Like, you begin to, you have to be very intentional about, and I wasn't even going to talk about this. It just kind of came up while I was just talking. But you had to be very intentional about, like, maintaining a good culture, because the culture and the rules and the laws with it, like, a jail is its own ecosystem. They live by their own rules. They have their own laws. They have their own, it's a completely different place. And if you're not careful, that can kind of wear off on the employees. They begin to play into it because it's a huge system, and you begin to play into that sometimes if you're not careful. So that, and if you need to go check on around. And also, I was over about 120, 30 young people in a bus route ministry, and that I did have a staff. Waukesha was actually on the staff. Your wife.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a staff of people that I worked along with, and it was that was another thing where culture was building and maintaining a certain culture was a thing. So those, I do have a little experience. I'm not just saying things out of a book, which there is good things in the book. Most of this stuff came out of books that I read in preparing for a lot of stuff. So I just wanted to give that. Just I'm kind of not some random guy. I do have a little experience in it, and I'm just gonna bounce some of the ideas. And we all have experience in culture, just in different things in life, whether it be whether it be family dynamics or work dynamics or your group of friends. We all play into building cultures. So I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit. First off, I guess we can define culture. And culture is a combination of what a person creates and what a person allows. So I guess what a ministry creates and what a ministry allows is the culture. And this I'll have a lot of
definition.
Huh?
I really like that definition.
Yeah.
Actually.
It's I did a lot of reading up on this. This is a lot of this. None of this is really my knowledge. Well, it became my knowledge once I read it. So I guess I did the work to read it. So, but it's not original to me. None of this is original to me. Culture is a combination of what we create and what we allow. So in order to, we're talking about having a healthy culture in a worship ministry, and this can go for anything. This doesn't have to necessarily be worship, a music ministry, but because this podcast is about it, that's what we'll focus it on. So first, we want to have a clear, stated, and intentional set of values. So in order to have a culture, we have to know what that culture will be, or what we're striving for and what we're striving to maintain. So it needs to be clear, it needs to be stated, and intentional, because if it's not stated, then there's room for interpretation. If it's not clear, then there's room for interpretation. If it's not intentional, then you're just kind of drifting. So it has to be those things.
And I'm gonna just kind of like jump in on that
Oh yeah,
one a little bit. Like,
go ahead.
I don't think I've ever actually been like over like some major thing, but I just know that basically, like, if you're not necessarily intentional with like the room for interpretation thing, room for interpretation / like confusion, because like if you don't fill in the blank, other people will fill in the blank themselves
with whatever they want.
And all of a sudden it's just like it looks good on the surface, but then when stuff goes down or something happened, everybody's just like, well, I thought it was supposed to be this, and I thought it was supposed to be this, and it turns out you're on page 5 and they're on page 37 and someone else is on page like 80 something. Yeah. So like
right, exactly. And that can happen very easily.
Yeah.
Very, very easily if it's not intentional. It definitely can and will. Not can, it will.
Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
It'll happen when you're intentional, but when you're intentional, you have that goal to set for. It's easier to reset.
Yeah.
And one of the things we want to do is we want to understand what we want, understand who you are and where you want to go. So we have to make good assessments of our worship program, of our music program, worship team. A good, honest assessment of who we are, and then what we want to be. But the great thing about in church ministry, most of the time, the church culture is already set, or the stated values. The values are already stated. In most cases, values are already stated. So you just, under the leadership that you're under, your pastoral team and all of that, they've already set up the values for the church, so you just have to flow in that. Now, there are, that's in a perfect world. Every church would have clearly stated values, but every church doesn't have clearly stated values. Every church doesn't have intentional and clear and stated values. So if you are in a place like that where things are kind of not clear and the leadership's kind of not clear on those values, then set them for your music program yourself, but let it be biblical. You don't want to set it in something that will be a problem to your pastoral staff or to the team. Like, it needs to be biblical. It needs to be in line culturally. It needs to be in line, and all of those factors have to be visited.
And also, like, I mean, if you're like a worship pastor / worship leader, or just like on the worship team, it's honestly not even a bad idea to just be like, you can go to your pastoral team or go to whoever is in your leadership and just be like, hey, can we just go to lunch one day? Because you'd be surprised how much people that are, like in leadership positions actually want to talk about that stuff with people. Like, they don't, I mean, like, if you're not clear about something, or you're just wanting to know, okay, like, what's your vision 3 months, 3 years, whatever down the line, like, you'd be surprised. They will literally sit there for like, I know some people, they will literally sit there for hours and just like talk your head off about all the stuff that they're dreaming of wanting to do.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's very good. And that's, a lot of things are born in those conversations. And it's like, I was talking to one of my friends, shout out to Logan. Logan, shout out Logan Monk. Yeah, we were talking about music stuff and some of the things, some of our dreams, the things we would like to do going forward. And there was so much life and so much encouragement and so much like a shot in the arm, just sitting down and having those conversations and talking about dreams and talking about the things that you'd like to see out of ministry and in your personal life and that kind of thing. And it just sitting down and having those talks can be great for yourself and also for the culture. It pushes everything forward. It keeps everything in the forefront. So that's good. That's a really good point about sitting down. And one of the things you want to do is you want to let your mission solve your problems. So the problems that come up, let your mission solve that. So we already have the stated values and we know where we're going. So the problems that come up, let your mission solve that. So you work backwards from where you want to go, and any problems that arise, should be pointing toward that mission. You should resolve them, and pointing toward that mission. And also, you want to chart the path using your values. Now, as far as the whole values thing, like with your values, you want to make sure that they are talked about often, that they're kind of like indoctrinated. I know sometimes people can indoctrinated can be a bad word in some contexts.
Honestly, it's like I think it's unfair because it's kind of like that whole thing where it's just like a few bad. And I know I'm saying like a few. I mean, like it was quite a bit more than a few. But I mean, in the big scheme of things, it was a few people that ruined something that honestly really had the potential to be a good thing. Because I mean, like, indoctrination isn't necessarily like, oh, we're sipping the Kool-Aid kind of thing, but it's like
exactly that's where my mind goes when I hear that, because
like
it's
indoctrination.
Wait, hold up. What's that in the Bible?
Let me
find that. Show me a scripture.
Oh my gosh! It's almost like I don't know. It's like I don't know. I think that's just one of those words where it's just like you hear that and everybody's like, "Oh, doctor."
Yeah, right. Right. Exactly.
Hold myself close.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, indoctrination in the right context, it is great, and that's what's needed to build a culture. It has to be pushed. It has to be placed into people. So how do you do that? You make it consistent, those values, you make it consistent at every level. So we have our set of values. So when you try out for the music ministry, first thing you're before you sing a note, you're going to know about these values. You're going to know this is what we are.
It is a thick packet.
Yeah.
They are very clear.
Right. Exactly. They're clear, concise, and intentional.
It's not
values.
like some little flyer that you're going to find on a post. It is a booklet that you need to read through. You need to sign it like the terms and agreement. Like it's not like the Apple one where we all just kind of click through and just be like, yeah, I read it, but you didn't read it. No, it's like actually like.
Yeah, right. And some places, you know, just depending on the size, yours may be a sheet of paper. Yours may be it's all I guess relative to size of your ministry and all kinds of different stuff. You want to make sure that it's consistent in every in every part. You know, like before you sing a note, these are the values. If there's ever any meetings that you have, these are the values. You know, it needs to be not pushed upon people, but they need to know. Presented. It needs to be presented, and it needs to be. What is it like? There's some statistic like you need to hear something like 10, 20 times before you
I've
even
heard that.
before you even
the
start.
number,
I don't remember the number.
It's a lot though.
It's
like
a lot.
You'd be surprised. It's a really high number.
Yeah. Before it's in one ear and out the other, you have to hear it a bunch of times until it actually starts sticking. So it needs to be consistent. Pretty much for starting a ministry, that's pretty much you do that and you work it out. But most people don't start a ministry. Most people they adopt a ministry, or they're you know, or they're thrown into a ministry, or they're hired on at a place, and you don't get a blank slate. That's at a blank slate. Now, 10 times out of 10, there's not a blank slate, because even if there is no culture, there is a culture. It's just a culture
unspoken
of
rules.
Unspoken rules. It's
just like we don't do that here.
Right. It's ingrained. So when it comes to like changing a culture, which would be 9, unless you're literally going to a startup church or a startup ministry, and you're starting from scratch, that I think that's the minority. That's a very few. Then you do that and you work it. But most of the time, it's you're coming into a ministry from something. And one thing we need to know, that introducing new values and turning a culture can take a while. Studies show that it can take 1 to 2 years before you have to stick with the process. 1 to 2 years before you even start seeing results. So going into a new place and thinking that the culture will change in a few weeks, few months, that will not happen. It will take a year, 2 years, sometimes 3 to turn that over. So stick with it, because that's something that will reap benefits beyond those 2 or 3 years.
And I'm gonna jump in on that. People are creatures of habit, so it's like, while it's frustrating for you and the position that you're in, of just like, well, they should obviously know this and they should obviously know that. Everything is not obvious to everybody,
Right.
and so it's just like with the statistic thing. For some people, it really is going to take them a while. Unfortunately, we hate it.
Yeah.
We do. I
Yeah.
promise we do. I promise we do. But for some people, you say it and they'll get it, whether they like it or not. They'll just start doing it.
Right.
And other people, it's one of those things where it's just like they're literally having to change years, or
Right.
like with the process of like you're taking over. Let's say like you're at a big church that's been around for like over 100 years. You're probably going to be dealing with some people who have been doing the same thing for decades.
Right. Yeah, decades.
So it's just like, and then here you come with your new rules, and they're just like, who does he think he is? Like, we've been doing this since 1937.
Talking about a culture. We don't need no culture around here. Get out of here. Culture. That's a culture.
So it's just like, sometimes you can turn the boat, and it's just like, it's really easy, and it's just like, whoa, okay. But other times it's just like slowly, because
Right.
You're dealing with people, not
Yeah.
with robots or animals, but
Exactly.
people.
Exactly. And that actually leads into my next point. We're saying, when you're changing a culture, what you're really doing is you're changing unhealthy mindsets. It's like detox. Like, detox takes a while. Like, the good stuff, of course, you're not going to want to change the good stuff. It's the stuff that's contradictory to the culture that you want that you'll have to change. It's the unhealthy mindsets that you're trying to change. And flowing along in that same vein about unhealthy mindsets, we talked about man, there's so many.
I know.
This can be a very,
it's
very
really
long.
hard to stay on topic,
It
y'all,
is.
because
It
it's
is.
like this goes a lot of different ways.
A lot of different ways. My mind just went like 5 different ways just
Yeah.
then. I was like, wait, whoa. Okay, so when you're talking about unhealthy mindsets, and we were talking about, I was talking about the job I had at the airport where it had people would get in little groups and would talk and this kind of stuff. That can be very detrimental to a ministry of any kind. And one thing we want to try to do with that is, most of the time in a music ministry, it's volunteers. It's not like people that are hired. You can say, you're fired, or whatever. Like,
You're fired from the volunteer ministry.
So you have to use a lot more tact than you would at a job. So that's where you want to, and when the culture hasn't been formed yet, that's when you want to sit down and you want to have those conversations, and you want to reach back and you want to do them in love, and you want to explain that this is not against you, this is not against whatever, this is the vision, and X, Y, and Z hurts the vision. Not the person hurts the vision, but the action X, Y, and Z hurts the vision. And you want to do that with love, but you will have to have those conversations. And I was listening to a podcast, and one of the guys was saying, you know what? Some cultures, some people are just not right for. And that's I know that's whatever, but some cultures, some people are just not right for. That's why you need prayer, and you need to go forward, and you do everything with the fruit of the Spirit and prayer, and you let the chips fall where they may. And if that ministry and that culture is not for somebody, then it will be known, and then they will want to remove themselves because they didn't buy in, and that's just not where they're going.
It's just important that like we just make sure that we are like keeping a good spirit and how we handle things, and not just like, if you did that one more time, I'm coming at you. It's just like, I'm coming for you. Like,
yeah, and we want to make sure we do that, because I'll think of it like this, like the good stuff. I was talking about the good stuff you want to keep, in the bad stuff. Like, think of it like health. health is not contagious, but sickness is. Like, so all of that sickness, other people can get it. The healthy stuff, like, that ain't contagious. Like, health, it can be contagious.
Not like sickness, though.
But not like sickness.
Sickness, you could be around somebody for like 5 seconds and catch what they got.
Yeah, right. And that can, like, that kind of stuff, that it can do that to a culture. So we want to make sure that that when creating a culture, that stuff is dealt with. And when I say dealt with, I mean all of those things, fruit of the Spirit, like Josh was saying. We want to make sure we do it in a manner where we think of that person first and not of ourselves, and not just want to do what we want to do, but
don't shake them, y'all. Don't shake them.
WWJD, WWT. Well, yours would be WWJD.
I know.
Too,
just make sure it's the right J.
Yeah, make sure it's the right J. Right. Make sure it's the right J.
It's like, I don't know, and it's something I've learned is that you'd be surprised how easy it is to just sit down and just talk with people, because some people literally all they need is for you to just come and talk with them and just be like, hey, this is what's going on, this is how I'm feeling about it, how are you feeling about it, I feel like there's a misunderstanding here, it was something, I don't know, like if you just put it on the table and just explain it to people, like what's going on, because sometimes a lot of stuff is cleared up with just clearing up a misunderstanding. Right.
Most things are misunderstanding.
Because sometimes people get hurt. I mean, it happens. Sometimes people get hurt. People think like, oh, well, they're doing this because this. And meanwhile, your mind is way far from what they think it is. And if you just sit down and talk with people and just talk some stuff out, that cuts out probably about 90% of the issues.
Right. And I'm going to come back to that. So maybe try to help me to remember what you said about you just said it. I forgot.
Talking
it out. All you need to do is communicate. Miscommunication. That whole thing.
This is how we remember stuff. This is how we remember stuff.
And so, just another thing, like in changing a culture, which most people would want to do, you identify those things that are not, you hold it up against those values that you have, and then that's, like I said, let your mission solve the problems. So you hold it up against that culture, and then you begin to deal with the things that you create. You begin to create things that are culture, and then the things that you allow, you begin to not allow them. And again, not to keep talking in circles, but it should be a known thing now. When I say deal with things, it's always in love, always with the fruit of the Spirit, always talking things out.
But also, it's not bad to keep saying it though, because
because we got to say a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
like
for it to stick.
We got to say it a lot of times. So, so in saying that, if you have these, you hold it up against the current culture that you see. You hold your values up, and you begin to see values that are not conducive to what you want. Then you have to hit them pretty consistently and hit them pretty hard, because, like, I don't know what law it is, but the things that stay in motion. Newton's law. Okay, Newton's law. Things that are in motion tend to stay in motion unless a greater force interrupts them. So it needs to be a greater force of your culture needs to interrupt that flow, because once a culture is in motion, it's gonna stay in motion until it is interrupted. And I'm again, we'll just disclaim it every time. Again, the things that are in motion and we're clashing against those. Of course, we want to clash in love, clash in prayer, clash in the fruit of the Spirit, clash with conversation and good communication. But those conversations do need to be had. And probably this will be one of the last things we talk about, unless you get anything else in us talking, or unless, who knows, it might or might not be. But the biggest thing in the single biggest factor in creating the culture and creating a culture and sustaining that culture and changing it is trust. Because
that is so important.
It's really important.
Oh my gosh.
And this is like I said, this is not original to me, but this is a really, really good point. you know how people say you have to earn trust.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the church, it should be trust is given, distrust is earned. So we give trust, and they can earn your distrust by things.
Wow.
But we lead with trusting first.
Wow.
And back to the point you were saying about talking things out. Like if you're lining things up with your mission, with your values, then if me and him are talking and we have the same values, the communication may be different. We may have different ideas, but at the end of the day, we're pointed at the same direction. We're trying to get to the same thing. So all of the little stuff begins to fade away when you realize, okay, we're going to this common goal. We have these common things of values. So let's just say me and Josh were together running a ministry, music ministry, and I had an idea and Josh had an idea, and I didn't like it and Josh liked it, and we had a disagreement. Like we had as big of a disagreement as we can have in the church. We had one, and we were truly like upset at each other. Then once you set back and you begin to think, okay, so all right, I trust Josh. You know, we're going toward the same goal. Let's try it. Let's say it does great, then we did it. If it doesn't do great,
now we know.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Try something else. And most things are like that. Like most decisions and most disagreements can be solved with that. Just trusting each other. Like if you're there and you line up with the cultures and the values, you obviously can be trusted. So trust the people and let them lead out in some things. Let them try some things.
And also, like, it be a lot of times because we all have different perspectives. Like, while you may see it immediately, whether it be because like you have previous experience, because it's I mean, like if you move from like one church to another, and then that church is just like, oh, let's try this, and it's just like we tried that 5 years ago, and that was a terrible decision. But I mean, like just because you see it immediately, it doesn't necessarily mean that the other person is going to be like, oh, they see it and they like immediately cross it out because they know the same thing too, because they don't know the same thing that you know.
Exactly. That's good.
And they don't have the same experience as you know. So sometimes, like you said, with the just like you just got to try it out. Sometimes people just have to try it out to see for themselves. Just because you see something immediately and someone else doesn't, like that, you probably know it immediately because of a past experience from like another church that you used to go to, or just because you just know by God-given reason or something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to know, because they don't have the same knowledge that you have all the time, and they're not always going to have the same experiences. Sometimes they're younger than you, so they just don't know because they just haven't had to live through that.
Right.
Sometimes it's because they're in a completely different area or something like that, or they're just in a completely different space mentally. And so sometimes, like you had brought up, they just have to, see it for themselves. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you, and it's not because they're stupid, but it's because like some people just need something, if that's making sense. Like it's just you're dealing with, again, it's when you're dealing with ministry, you're dealing with people. It's not just like it's not a corporation. You're not just dealing with tasks and objectives and stuff like that. And while we do have that, but ministry is centered around people, so it's like you got to take into account of their experiences and what they've been through and what they're going through now, even, and stuff like that. And so oh no, you're good.
And some people, like when you were talking, it made me think about it. Some people learn different. Like you know that. Like some people have to experience it. Some people you can tell them, and they're like, okay, you went through that, so I don't have to, and they get it. But some people will never get it that way. They have to experience it, and they have to touch the stove themselves and say, "Ow, that's hot." Some people you can tell them it's hot, they'll be fine. They'll never touch it. And neither way is the wrong way. Both ways are right. They're just different. So some people may need to experience things for themselves and others,
or at least
you
see
can
it
tell 'em. At
and
least
act
see
it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just like sometimes, like you know, like when you write something down or you like draw a diagram or something like that, it's just like that looks so good, but there are so many things that look so good on paper, and it is a bullet
Right.
train wreck in the
Right.
making.
You are so right about that.
Ooh,
That
it's a
is-
bullet
yes.
train wreck.
That is so true. Like, yeah. Even if, that is so true.
Which is also why practices are so important.
Yes.
Oh, they are so important.
So important.
Y'all,
So
it's so important.
So we're just gonna have you to sing this solo. You sing this part. Sing the alto. You sing the soprano and tenor. We're good.
And meanwhile, the person you asked to sing soprano was actually an alto. But
But you don't know it yet, So yeah, that's why practice is great.
Yes.
And given more to the leader, if you're the leader of the ministry, one of the things you need to do for the culture is be open to feedback, and the way actually you need to seek out feedback, because it can be intimidating.
That's good.
Because you are in the position you are the leader. It could be intimidating for a praise team member to come to you with feedback and tell you, okay, maybe this can be done differently. So you need to seek out feedback and say, hey, is there something I could be doing better? Is there something that I could be doing differently? Because some people will never tell you. They will think it and they will feel it. And after a while, resentment will grow up. And you're like, why are you resenting me? And
they looking at you sideways.
Yeah, looking at you sideways over something they never communicated to you, which was not your fault. But the way we can head those types of things off is we can be proactive, and we can say, okay, is there something I can be doing better? Like the conversations you said, like we can sit down over lunch and we can have a conversation, and I can ask you, okay, what do I need to be doing better? What can I do better? And a lot of times people that are in the trenches are in different places. They have a different perspective. They know problems. They can solve problems you don't even know exist because
they're on. I
Yeah.
mean, it's something about like when you're on the ground. I
Right.
guess to say
Yeah.
when you're like actually like in it, and you're not in the position, you see some things very, very differently than
Right.
you would in a leadership position.
Right.
Just because like in a leadership position, you don't see everything. You would like to,
Yeah.
but you don't. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't. Yeah, you can't, and that's perfect. That's why it's a good idea to ask and receive feedback. And of course, when we receive feedback, we need to do it in love with the fruit of the Spirit, praying and all of that. What would Jesus do? Like what would Jesus do when we receive that feedback? And for some people, it's hard to receive feedback. Like I'm the kind of person, like I wouldn't say it's hard to receive feedback, but like I pride myself in knowing how to do something, and so I do kind of feel a way when somebody says, hey, this is how you do this. And I'll never snap at somebody. As long as I'm not hungry and or sleepy and tired, I won't snap at somebody. You catch me
In the
while
right
I'm
conditions.
If you catch me while I'm hungry and sleepy, then I may, who knows? Who knows? Throw a Bible at you. Throw a Bible. Get out of here.
You don't know.
But all of that to say, I don't know what all of that was to say. We need to do it in love, and we can't. Oh yeah, no. All right. So when we're receiving feedback, we have to understand that we may feel a way, but that doesn't mean we have to react a way, and that doesn't mean it's normal to feel certain ways about people telling us stuff. That's human nature. So if I do feel a way, just hey, I feel like this. That's normal. I'll get over it, but don't react. And if I need to have a conversation with the person, saying, I feel this way, but most of the time you don't. It's just you getting in your feelings. We need to get over it. I need to get over it. Everybody needs to get over it. If we're getting in our feelings over somebody coming to us in love, coming to us in respect, coming to us in trust, and giving us feedback. Like if we feel a way about it, which we can because we're human. If we're reacting and getting crazy about it, then we need to grow up.
Well, forget you then.
Then we need to grow up. I don't know. That was all I had down for for building a culture. There's definitely a lot more. This could be like this. There's people with podcasts completely dedicated to leadership and to building cultures and stuff. So this can be a continual conversation. So how do you condense a continual conversation into one episode? So I guess try to hit the high points, creating a culture. And the way we do that is by what we allow and by what we create. And we didn't talk a whole lot about the creation part and the battery. We'll have to watch the batteries because we're about to run through a battery. We didn't talk about creation a bunch because that's specific to your values and specific to where you're going. So we can talk about creating things, but it's different for every ministry. It's different for every culture. So what you want to do is create things that will help to propel your the culture that you're going for. And another thought, I was just random thoughts. It doesn't have to go anywhere, but one of the things that one of the guys said, she's up. One of the things that one of the guys said was with people. Now I forgot it. It was gonna be dynamic. It was gonna be amazing, but I forgot it. So. It was not gonna be amazing. I don't know, but if I think about it, I'll put it in another because I can't think about it now. You got anything?
Honestly, no. I think we covered like a really wide range of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I thought about it. Okay, so
there it is.
One of the things he said was, in order for people to be productive and to work toward that culture, they need to feel empowered. They need to feel good. So we need to. Part of the culture that we can say that needs to be there is something of empowerment, encouragement. People produce better results, for lack of a better word, when they feel good about themselves, when they feel good about being in the environment. So anything that we can do to create a friendly, loving environment that cares about people, and this, I'm talking to myself because I'm such a analytical person. I can be like beep beep 0110 boop, 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 feelings, who needs them? Like I can literally get like that sometimes, just because I'm so analytical. But we have to remember to lean away from that because, like you said, people. It's not about the tasks and this and that. It's about the people. We deal with people, and we want to make sure we're encouraging those people, and those people feel loved and they feel cared about and they feel seen, and they know if they come to you with concerns or with feedback, it won't end up with every other person in the choir knowing about it and how you felt about them coming to you. We need to make sure we handle people like God would handle them, which is, I guess that was the point. So that the point I had,
Yeah.
Got it. You said you don't have anything else? Well, I guess that's it. Oh yeah, I have a small e-docket. It's not like a book. It's like 8 little pages and the name of it is 2 ways. What's the name of it?
2 ways for effective worship leading.
2 ways for more effective worship leading.
Yes.
I will put a link to that in like all of the descriptions on my Instagram, on the Facebook Worship Leader Podcast, on the YouTube. I'll put it in like the bio for all of that. And what it is, it's just a simple. It talks about a lot of the. It talks about connection to God and connection to people. Those are the 2 ways we can be more effective, and it talks about us connecting to God and us connecting to people, more on the people side because connecting to God, we connect to God through prayer and all of that. We hear that a bunch, and we know that a bunch, and we know it, and I cover it in the book, but I cover the connecting with people and a lot of the mechanics from like stage presence and all of that stuff I cover in it. So it's a pretty short, but it's a good read. And it's got ways that you can be more effective in your worship leading. And I'll put the links to that in all of the bios. And if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, like us, subscribe, comment,
share, all the
good
stuff.
If there's any suggestions you have, feedback. We're talking about feedback.
Yes.
You have any feedback for us? WWJD with your feedback.
Please, please.
Jesus, the J. But any feedback, anything you got that can help this podcast be better, we're definitely open to it. I think that's it. So, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sticking with us. We enjoyed it, and we will see you next time in a few weeks. Peace.
Peace.